Hello again, everybody. This is Jerry Foster with the Jerry Foster SEMO Music and Arts Podcast. Today, my special guest is special. He comes in at 5'9", 185 pounds, soaking wet. Plays bass guitar like Paul McCartney and plays drums like Animal. He has velvety pipes like, I can't remember his name. Ruben stuttered. The velvety teddy bear.
Yeah.
Anyway, my guest today is Mr. Keyven Dunn, my buddy. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm very good.
Tell me something that happened today that changed your life.
Something that changed my life today. I had a whiskey roll at Exotic Grill for lunch, and it was wonderful. It was very, very good. It was a life-changing experience.
Could you taste the whiskey in it?
I could not. I don't think there was whiskey on it, which is probably good because I was on my lunch break from teaching. Well, not teaching, but working with students at the high school. So.
Oh yeah. Do you have what do you? I don't know the answer to this, so if I sound insensitive, man. Do you work with like a specific group of kids?
Yeah, kind of. There's a classroom that a bunch of the kids that I help out with are all in, and then I go with some of those children at different times to like different classes and stuff like that. Just give them a little extra help if they need it.
So kind of special needs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, right on, man. That's very cool. That's cool.
It's a good job.
That's neat. Probably very rewarding.
It is, definitely. It is very cool. And the kids are awesome. They're really funny and really smart. They're awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Some of my favorite clients when I'm cutting hair are special needs. In fact, there's this girl. She comes in regularly and she calls me every night, and she's got classic Asperger's syndrome, but it's just really cool that she's willing to be social because in the past she used to come in and she wasn't social at all.
Wow, yeah.
And just one day, me and the girls I work with sort of reached out to her, and she became one of my regulars, man.
Yeah,
she's
that's
my buddy.
awesome.
She was just in today. She said, "I'll call you tonight."
That's very cool.
Man, it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
pretty neat.
Definitely.
Anyway, this isn't about me and special needs people, but I just admire what you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing musically these days?
I play with a guy named Dylan Cate. I play bass with him, and we're working on doing an album for him, which has been a lot of fun. I've been getting to do some bass and some drums on that, and we're getting to record a little bit of guitar and helping produce a little bit. So that's been a very fun project that I've been working on, and then I do that, and then I have my own little acoustic gig that I do by myself too. So,
oh yeah.
Yep.
Where are you going to be playing next?
I just booked a gig by myself, or for myself, I should say, at the Wine Rack in January on the 23rd, I think. And then this Saturday, like 2 days from now, I guess, I'm going to play with Dylan at a wedding somewhere down in Arkansas. I can't remember where, but so that'll be fun.
You ever done a wedding gig before?
I did. The last time I did one, it was a lot of fun. It was unexpected. I thought I was going to play just a few songs, and then after the ceremony ended, the bride and groom went to go get their pictures taken, and it took longer than expected. So I was there for 2 hours or 3 hours or something, and it ended up just playing music the whole time. So it was cool. I got to meet a lot of the people. They were very friendly. They were all really nice, you know. The thing about weddings, though, is kind of weird, I think, is anybody that has ever, played an instrument before or been in a band, they want to come up and tell you about it. But I'd say that's the true of the same thing, at bars and stuff, though, a lot of the time, is people that come out and see you for the first time, they all want to come up and be like, I used to play bass guitar with my, or even worse is the people that are, the inquisitors, what's the difference between a guitar and a bass guitar? Or can you play the piano without a color chart? I can, yes.
Well, my favorite is people with harmonicas that come up because you're. I've always got the whole I'm left-handed. Man, I can't.
So lucky that you.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize I play upside down and backwards, right?
Uh-huh.
So They don't realize that I'm lying when I
That
say,
you
well,
could just,
yeah, no,
they
you could just play
pick
my
up your
guitar.
yeah.
But man, when someone brings a harmonica, there's no, you have to
can't
be,
stop 'em.
you can't stop them, man. And the thing is, if you turn them down, they will walk around table to table blasting that thing in unsuspecting people's ears. You're like, dude, come on, man, trying to have a gig here.
Just bending notes as hard as they can. Yeah, man, that's something that it really gets on my nerves when people do that, and they or the people that will come up and like when I play with Dylan, you know, I'm not the guy that's doing the lead singing. I sing background vocals for him and stuff, but people come up and they'll like sing into my microphone or try to it stinks, man. Like I've had people, you know, knock my microphone over, like bump into my gear. I'm really touchy about that stuff, and I'm very territorial when it comes to like, you know, when you're on the stage and playing. It really bugs me when people come up and try to like take the mic from you or something like that. It's a bummer. The other thing I think that's a big bummer is that, you know, it's like those same type of people that will stand next to you and holler requests at you for like an hour and never tip you. And the request that they ask for is like, I play with Dylan and we play country music and like classic rock and stuff like that. And we seriously, like a few weeks ago, there was a girl that was like asking us to play like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift and stuff, and like, we don't. Why would you think that we play that?
Did the place have a jukebox?
They did, yeah.
I would have said I will gladly play it on when we go to break on the jukebox.
I'll put it on there for you. It'll sound better anyway.
You ever tried pulling off a request like that?
Oh yeah.
How did?
Really well. One time when I was doing an acoustic gig, and it's usually somebody asked for it as a joke. My favorite here, well, my two favorites are when I'm playing by myself acoustically. And it's just me and an acoustic guitar, and somebody will say, can you do Freebird? And then I do Freebird, and I do the guitar solo with my mouth. And it usually ends in me just yelling in a very high-pitched wail, and people sometimes like it.
Can I get a sample of that?
I think there's a video online of one of the first gigs I did on Facebook that one of my friends took where I did it, and she caught the very end of it, and this guy came up and started bowing down in front of me, and he was completely sober.
Yeah?
I don't think so.
Dude, mouth guitar solos are great.
They are.
In the shower?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can pull off, like, seriously, like Triumph, Yes.
Yeah.
with all of the parts. Any prog rock stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just go for it. The other, there was a time when I played at Exotic Grill, and somebody asked me to play Lady Gaga. They were obviously joking, but the request was fulfilled.
What'd you do, Poker Face?
I did do Poker Face. You know, because I don't know the words to any of her songs really, and that one's got a really easy chord progression, so I just went for it.
Yeah, she had that one song that sounded like Madonna. Express Yourself. What's that one Madonna song? Yeah, Express Yourself, I think.
I think so. I don't know,
Shit,
though.
I don't know. I'm not a Madonna aficionado. But I kind of pride myself that every day is kind of like a no Madonna day on my radio station in my head, because like I've always got music in my head.
Same here.
Always, as you probably do as well.
Yeah.
And does it get on people's nerves?
I mean, I don't know. I found that in like on days when I haven't been able to sit down and play a guitar or, you know, some instrument, I find myself like beatboxing or humming or singing songs, and usually I try to keep it to myself. One thing that I do, and I've done this since I was like a little kid, is like I'll have this little internal beatboxing thing where like I can hear it in my head, but I make noises with my mouth, but they're quiet, so people just hear me like and people are like,
I clack my teeth doing that.
Yeah, I do too. And then I'll do like a crash cymbal, like a you know, and people look at me and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, boy, you got Tourette's.
When I was in second grade, I think I used to, you know, tap on my desk at school, and like I've been playing drums since I was 5 or younger. But around that age is when I really started, you know, I took a lesson and really got into it. And so I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And one day my teacher had a conference with my parents, and she was like, I think we might need to get Keyven tested for like ADD or ADHD. And my parents were like, well, cool, why though? And she's like, well, he's just always like tapping on his desk and stuff. And my parents are like, well, yeah, he's a drummer. And she's like, no, I get it. He taps on the desk all the time. They're like, no, like, he plays the drums. He has a drum set at home. She was like, oh, okay. Well, still, you know,
It's
maybe
disruptive to little Jimmy over there.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. That's awesome. I used to get in trouble for making noises all the time. I mean, all the daggum time. But it was usually from my parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I got no mercy from anyone until I was older. My parents realized, well, the boy can play, so
Yeah.
I guess we might as well. My first drum set, because I played drums first. That was the first instrument.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and my first drum set was flower pots.
Nice.
Yeah, I flipped them over, and I realized that some had a different sound than others.
Sure.
So when my parents were watching Hee Haw, I'm banging the piss out of these flower pots that are turned over. And yeah, the first real instrument I owned was a set of Ludwig drums.
Wow, that's very cool.
Well, the funny thing is they were probably a good set from like the 70s, and I didn't know what they were.
Right.
And I beat the hell out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them, and I had some drums. Then my parents sold them for like $50 to something.
Wow.
'Cause I don't know. And then I had this little toy wrestling ring from like 6th grade.
Yeah.
This WWF, back then it was called WWF, it's WWE now.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the ring posts off, and those were my drumsticks, and I didn't have the ropes. I just tossed them. And I would just bang the piss on this toy wrestling ring to Chipmunk Punk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. I had my parents when I was very young got me a little like Fisher Price, marching band snare drum looking thing, and it had little red drumsticks attached to it with these little pieces of rope. So I played that. And then when before my parents got me my first like toy drum set, I would take that, and my dad used to own a barber shop here in town, and it's where. With the Extreme Gymnastics over by the Rogers Theater. That building right across from the Rogers Theater.
Uh-huh. I remember when your dad ran a beauty school from
That
there.
was it. That was what it was. That's what I meant. Yeah. And so I would go in the back and I'd like have my little drum, and I'd have my like these chairs and cardboard boxes and whatever I could cobble together, and like I would beat on those with my drumsticks that like my parents had gotten me for Christmas, I would play the movie That Thing You Do, and then I would drum along to the songs in the movie.
That's cool. You know, it's really neat. I've got a set of... I'm working on a solo album right now, as you can see here in my very fancy studio.
State of the art.
State of the art. The acoustics in here or something.
Yeah.
But as you can see, I've got this electronic drum set behind me. Here in a minute, I want to have a drum off with you.
Okay, we could do that.
I think, even though I haven't had a nap, I could probably conjure up the energy to whoop you.
Okay, we could try. Do you have a bass drum though?
That's the only issue.
You don't have that.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not good with an electronic bass drum. It I can't describe. I don't like it, so I've been just sort of
sampling it.
Sampling ones. So we'll have us a good little drum off.
A sans bass drum off.
Hell yeah!
All right, cool. We
can
do that.
But that'll be here in a little bit. What is your take on country western stars doing Sting songs?
I think Sting songs were written to be done by country western stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, not by Sting.
Who's your... Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think Sting thought he was supposed to have written them for Sting. He's like, I've got this band, the Police, but I really want George Strait to sing King of Pain, damn
That's
it.
what... Yeah. I think I've seen the interviews where he's talked about that.
Yeah. Well, I know that his... I read his autobiography, where he was saying his biggest influence in life was... Buck Owens.
Really?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, I believe it was Paul McCartney. But
that would make sense. Another singer bassist.
But could you imagine? Buck Owens doing the greatest hits of Sting.
Earlier when we were seeing Sting songs in the style of country western music, I don't know. The lyrics, they match up. A lot of them are very like they're bummers, man, about like
Hell
lost
yeah.
love and
It's a little black spot on the sun today.
Exactly.
I'm the king of pain.
Yeah, I mean,
I can hear steel guitar in that.
I could. Too.
I'm not talking this bro country stuff. Not this
of
Jason
course
Aldean
not. That's
nonsense.
the worst, man. I can't stand like. I feel like you're taking, but you know these two forms of music that really can be artsy and awesome, and just. But I feel like that's happened over and over again with people taking, you know, genres of music and mashing them together. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes you have some magic there, like rap rock. You know, you had some bands that were...
Okay, it was cool when Run DMC and Aerosmith did Walk This Way. That was good.
And so then you had some of that, and then, you know, even like into bands like Rage Against the Machine and whatever. Who's the other... I don't know. Who else does that? A lot of people... Linkin Park, right? I don't really care for Linkin Park.
Yeah, I think they did.
I don't. Who's is it Limp
Starts
Bizkit?
with one.
Or then you.
Oh, there's my phone.
That's a phone call.
It's my mother. You know what? We're gonna do a first here on the old podcast. Hello.
Hey there, son.
How are you doing, Mom?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I am doing so good. I'm doing a podcast right now that's going to go out on the World Wide Web. Would you like to say hi to everybody?
Oh, well, hello.
Would you like to tell them a little bit about your musical endeavors?
Well, I play the piano and sing gospel music.
Praise the Lord.
And
Praise him.
that's basically about it.
Yeah, what's your favorite gospel song?
My favorite one? Oh, my, that's a hard one to say. But the title is called Little David.
Yeah.
And it talks about the battle's not ours, but it's God's.
Yes.
And that's the way it is.
Uh-huh. I believe that.
So...
I'm going on record in public saying, yes, I do believe that the battle is God's and not mine.
That's right. When we put it in God's hands, then the battle will be fought right. But anyways, I want to say a Merry Christmas to each and every one.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good message, too.
So, anyway, sons, when you get finished, give your mama a call back, okay?
I will do. I love you, Mom.
I love you too, son.
You better.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
I gotta say, I really like it that you have a good thing with your mom. That makes me happy.
Oh, I love my mom.
That's good, man.
She's all I got.
Well, yeah.
I don't have any grandparents. My dad died last year, so I mean, she's all I got. So,
love
but
parents.
I do love my mama.
Yeah.
I love my mom a lot.
Same here.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. So what were we talking about? Garth Brooks doing the best of Sting.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, we need to make that happen. I wonder how we could get a hold of Garth Brooks to petition that. Like, I mean, what? I wonder how he would be best approached. Would you be like, listen, I do believe you are the king of country and western 90s music? Or would you be like, look, dude, you are the cause of all this bro country, and to redeem yourself, we would like for you to do the entire Dream of the Blue Turtles album. Or Synchronicity.
We'd
like you to do the
Dude,
Synchronicity
I would love
album.
to hear Garth Brooks like, ho, ho, ho. That would be so good. That would be...
Every little thing she does is magic.
There's some of those songs I just don't know. Like, I can't imagine anybody except Sting doing that. Like, but I would just so love to hear Garth Brooks like, another suburban family morning. You know, I think that would be really cool.
It's like a humiliating kick in the crotch.
The first time I heard that lyric, it stuck out to me. I was just like, oh, that's so weird. Why is this in this song?
I was like, he managed to put the word crotch in a pop song.
In the do-do-do-da-da-da, he says when they're like, logic ties you up and rapes you. Yeah, I did not know that it was rape until like a while after I had heard that song and played it in public. And now every time, like if I ever play that song at a gig, I feel so uncomfortable when I get to that. It's so weird.
I hate the topic of rape. period.
It's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about.
Yeah, but unfortunately, me being a dad to a daughter, I mean, I actually, it's a topic that has to be discussed.
Sure.
Kind of like rectal bleeding.
You gotta
discuss it. Oh, that's gross.
That's so gross, man.
I'm head went overboard there. So, okay, this record that you're working on with Dylan.
Yes.
Give me an idea of what it's gonna kind of be like.
I mean, I don't know. Dylan, he writes music that's very, I like them. They're good songs. I don't know. I really enjoy recording on his music. It's a lot of fun to play. It's kind of a nice blend between country and rock. And it's fun because, when you, in the process of, I'm sure you can relate to, like, writing a song to recording that song, a lot of the time, the nature of the song will change on you a little bit sometimes. I mean, for some people it doesn't,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Some people, I guess, really have an idea of what they want, and then they stick very close to that. But with Dylan, it's really cool because it's nice to work with him because it's just, I mean, it's the same basic thing that you have going on where we use an electronic drum kit, we plug into an interface, and then we record his songs, and it's cool, man. I really like it.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's so easy.
I mean, I'm never going to get, Abbey Road sounding cool stuff.
But now you don't need to because now we're like taking our recordings and putting them on SoundCloud and stuff. We're like, on YouTube and like sharing them on Facebook, and it's different, because now the only, you don't have to have a record label to get recorded and have people listen to what you're doing.
And to get feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't care. I was just talking with my good buddy Brian in Indianapolis the other day. He's into these Kiss tribute bands. He's in a couple of them. They do really good.
That's cool.
And we were talking. He's a really neat dude too, man. He's just a great guy. I wish more musicians were like this fella. But we were saying, okay, I didn't get into music to pick up chicks.
Sure,
I had to play music. I bet much like you, I did when I was a little boy.
Right.
I just had to make music.
Same.
However, when it comes to the original stuff, I'm going out and playing covers.
Sure.
I will challenge any musician who says, "Oh, I don't like to be told I'm good. I don't like to be told that it's bullshit."
I don't think
I'm calling bullshit.
That's really funny you should say that because I was thinking about that same thing today and just how it's hard, man. Do you ever like get passed over for gigs or stuff, or notice that other people are getting gigs and you're just like, why am I not getting gigs? Like, why is my calendar not full right now?
Right now, I am exactly doing that. But I mean, but I'm recording an album too.
Sure.
But I mean, the last two guys I was in a band with for a long time, and still occasionally do a rogue random gig. I mean, they're really busy, and I'm happy for them.
But at the same time,
I'm kind of like,
I want to do something.
Man, I need to be out there.
No,
playing.
I was thinking about the same thing today because I was just like, man, I just feel like there's this hole where I'm not getting to play near, and it's true because I think And
I miss things like rehearsing.
Yeah, me too.
I like getting together, rehearsing, and we'd always kind of like have dinner and BS and
I agree.
Then get down to business.
But it's fun, I miss it because and I was thinking about it today, and I would, even if of course I think the other thing that people say that I think you'd have to call bologna sandwich on too is that the people that are like, well, I don't want to get famous, like I don't want to do this because I don't like. I mean, sure, you might not be explicitly just like setting out to do that, but I think on every level, like every musician or anybody in the arts,
absolutely.
like and so that, but honestly, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, if I never did get like famous, I would still like go to bars and restaurants and play from like 6 to 9 o'clock because I feel like I have to do that. But man, I agree. Like it's nice whenever people come up to you and they're like, you have a nice voice, you did a great job, or like this song that you played, I love that song. That's such a neat song, and you're like, wow. I mean that to me, I love it whenever people come out and they tip well and they're kind to you monetarily, but people that like stick around and are really, you can tell like digging what you do.
That's a big one. It's just and especially if they come, all right. Let's face it, most places charge a cover.
Yeah.
And when they come and they pay that cover and they stay from the time they get there till you are done, that's
man, those people, it make me so nervous because like, if you do those like 4-hour sets, and especially like when I do it by myself, towards the end of the night, I'm very tired, and I'm starting to scratch my head a little bit, and it makes me feel so bad. Because, like, if it's friends or whatever, then I don't care as much, because they know me, but if it's, like, people I don't know, I feel like, oh, these people have stuck it out. Like, I really need to, like, give them something good.
Oh, I do. I give them props, too, man. I get on the mic, and because I like to banter with the crowd. I really do.
You have to, yeah.
And, but I actually like it.
Me too.
Like, I really do like, and I've always sort of been a person that likes to show gratitude to people that are kind to me about the music. Because let's face it, we put our heart and our soul into our craft, and when you're writing songs, especially, man, you're putting a lot of yourself out there. Because I'll goof off and I'll get on Facebook and talk every day about something that's going on in my life. But there's not a lot of people that know what makes me tick.
Right.
But if you listen to the music, I put a lot of stuff out there because I'm a big kid.
Sure.
I'm still a little wussy little kid that doesn't really communicate super good.
Sure.
But I try to do it. I'm just more comfortable doing it in music.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, man. I think a lot of people are that way, and that's the neat thing about music is it kind of offers you that experience. But so let me ask you this: whenever you are writing songs, do you get like nervous about the things that you put in the songs, or like does it really? So you just like you have no problem just like writing lyrics and then being like, boom, that's it.
That's it.
Man, I'm just so the opposite way. Like I go through this ridiculous process of woodshedding stuff. Like I really would like to here in like the next couple weeks. I really want to record my own little solo album. You know, because I've been working on songs for, some of them years now. But, like, there's a song yesterday I was driving on my lunch break, and I just, like, this idea just, like, fell into my head, And so I started writing it down, and I was really excited about it, And I got, like, over half the song written yesterday. And so today I finished it up, and I was reading back through some of the lyrics, and I was just, I always have that period of time where, like, I go back and read through things, and I'm just like, man, I don't like this. I don't think this is cool. I don't like what I'm saying. But it's so hard for me because then I go through this weird, like, this aggressive process where I'm like, well, is this just me, like, being too much in my own head? Or, like, would other people like this? Because ultimately, I think that's a big deal is you're writing music for yourself. But, like you said, you want other people to enjoy it and be able to connect with it.
You wouldn't put it out there if you didn't care what people thought.
Sure.
You'd be a damn liar. Why else would you put it out?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you were asking a minute ago, do you ever write a song and you hear it one way in your head and then you record and it comes out different? The very last thing, in fact, I just posted it today. I just wrote and recorded it last week before, a song called Living Life Insane. Mm-hmm. It's about me getting sober.
Sure.
I work a program for sobriety, a 12-step thing, and I make a lot of references to it. If you happen to know anything about it, you know exactly where I got a lot of the material from. And just thinking about the insanity of gosh, man, the way I used to think, the way I used to behave, the things I used to do, things I'd give up. I used to get mad and scream and yell about this, that, and the other. I put it's a very truthful song.
Sure.
But I had in mind the slow down, 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 down.
Yeah.
And I recorded it that way, and I was like, it's just dragging. Yeah. Sped it up. Had to re-record it, but I sped it up. I sped that recording up, and I was like, oh, man, it's funky.
Right.
It's a funky song.
Yeah.
And I'm able to get this message across without it being too heavy.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, I've managed to, and I've done a lot of that in the past, too. I'll take a really serious subject and put it to happy music.
Sure.
And I've taken happy stuff.
And depressing. Yeah,
and made it sound almost depressing. But anyway, I just thought that was neat that you asked that, because that, the last thing I have done is that.
Yeah, right. No,
it was just that.
That's cool, man. It's always weird to me how when you can change a little something and it will just completely inspire you a different way. And I'm a big advocate of whenever I cover songs, and I've always felt this way with any band I've ever played in. Like, since the time I was a little kid, I've always thought, like, when I play songs that are somebody else's, I've always felt like I hate hearing people that go out and just completely rip off 100% what a band did on the recording. It even bums me out when I go see bands that sound the same way they do live on the CD. Like, that really turns me off. It makes me so sad because I feel like the live portion is another important evolution of the way your song sounds, you know?
Yeah.
But I've just always been an advocate, like, so especially when I do the acoustic stuff, you have to find a way to rework songs most of the time whenever you're doing that in some way, because a lot of songs that you'll play, you'll end up just sitting and strumming chords on your guitar, which is fine. And, like, you know, a lot of people do that, but that's not, like, I've always wanted to be able to finger pick stuff and play, like, some cool melodies while I do these songs and just kind of change up the vibe of a song. And it's really neat, like, the way that you'll be able to just bring something new out of the song for yourself whenever you do something like that.
What do you think about? See, I kind of have a different take. I don't think they should be 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's not a different take, but I think there's some parts of a cover tune that they're just essential to the song.
Well, like, yeah, you're not gonna go play, like, In the Air Tonight and you're
not do the
gonna,
da da da
yeah,
da
exactly.
da da da.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna be like, what are the lyrics like? Nowhere. What are the lyrics right before that? The drum fill. I can't remember. It's all been a bag of lies. Now that's the first verse. But whatever. You're not gonna do like some like zoom digga boom 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 you know.
Some Buddy Rich.
Yeah, like you're not. You're not. People will just be like, what? What is this? Like, why did you do that? I mean, so yeah, I agree. And like, you know, there are some songs where like a lead guitar part, you know, like you're gonna play that lead guitar part, and I agree. Like,
there's some key elements to certain, but I mean
that make a song what it is.
Crazy Train.
Yeah.
You've got to do the
Sure.
and then tap and do whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just throw that one lick in there in the song.
Exactly.
I don't care. I'm not actually, and I'm not impressed by people that play songs note for note.
Right.
I mean, okay, it's impressive on one hand. All right,
Sure.
you were able to find the tab or whatever.
Right. Or
to
even
do it.
just, you know,
Or
if
even,
you transcribe
you
it
have a good
yourself,
ear.
like, yeah, exactly.
Right, good on you for having a good ear. What do you have to say with the guitar?
Right. Exactly.
What kind of sound do you make with a guitar?
There's actually been two different times in my life. There was one group I played with back when I was in high school, and these guys, they wanted me to play drums for their son, who they were kind of trying to get a band started for. And so I, you know, was playing drums, and they were very adamant about, like, they would tell me, like, oh, we went and saw the Eagles last year, and they sounded just like they did on the album. And I was just like,
yeah, the Eagles. Almost, that was who I came to mind when you said.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't want to go see the Eagles.
It's a bummer. Like, I just think it's a bummer because it's just, you know, it's like, I've heard this. Like, I can go to YouTube and see, like, I want to see you do something different. Like, you feel that you still need to play this the exact same way, but, I mean...
For 50
Right, and maybe some people really do, but then this, like, about a year ago, there was a band down in Jonesboro that I auditioned to be in, and they went ahead and let me play with them, and I never did a gig with them, but they were it was annoying to the point where they were very adamant about, like, we played the song All the Small Things by Blink-182, and it's got this drum part in there that's like, you know, and, like, we were playing that song, and we got to this little part, and the guy stopped everybody, and he was like, all right, well, you need to do that thing. And I was just like, really? He was like, yeah. You know, we played, it was just everything, man. Like, he would stop and he'd be like, all right, well, in this part here, I think there's a China cymbal. And I would just be like, do you feel that the China cymbal is integral to, like, the integrity of the song? Do you think that is that important? The answer, I think, is almost always no in those instances, you know, unless, I mean, I don't know. And, you know, people have a different view, and his take on it was that people would always come up to them after shows and be like, man, it sounded just like the album. You guys did it just like the album. But in my experience, I've been to bars where, you know, people come up to me and they'll be like, can you play this song? There was a girl, this is like, I don't know, a couple years ago whenever I first started doing gigs, and she came up to me and she was like, do you know that Guns N' Roses song? And I was like, Sweet Child of Mine. She was like, no. I was like, Welcome to the Jungle. She's like, no, it's not that one. and she came up to me multiple times throughout the night, like, do you know this? I think it's by, like, she said Guns N' Roses and somebody else is, like, one of those, like, you know, quintessential, maybe Van Halen, I can't remember.
AC/DC.
Yeah, and she was talking about the song Every Rose Has Its Thorn. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, you've just been so wrong. Like, none of these been. But so finally, you know, I figured out that was what she was talking about. And I said, well, I mean, I don't know all that song, but I could definitely do a little bit of it for you. And I've had that multiple times where people will be like, can you play this song? And I'll be like, well, I know some of it. And they're like, oh, sure. And then you play it, and those people go crazy, man. Like, they love it because they're like.
All they want to hear is that one lyric.
Right. They just like want to hear some of that song.
Of the melody.
Because I think that's one of the neat things about music is that it really connects people in that way.
Sure.
It's like when you're listening to the radio and like, you know, this like one of your favorite songs comes on that you like have on your iPod or on your phone or something. You can listen to it whenever you want, but when you hear it on the radio or like on a jukebox or something,
it's just different.
Yeah, because you're like, oh my god, other people are hearing this right now.
Right.
Like, there's a bunch of us that are listening to this. That's so cool, and it is, man. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned, you know, people coming up and asking you to play these songs that don't seem to fit whatever genre or whatever you're doing that night.
Yeah.
Me and Jamie and Ken, you know, we had the Ernie Lewis band there for a long time, and we were kind of I don't know what you'd call us, almost like a stoner rock.
No, you guys,
I don't know what you'd call it.
But I would say, like, classic rock was probably the more, like, but it was awesome, man. I saw you guys a couple times. It was great.
It never ceased to amaze me how many times someone would come up and ask us to do, like, Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
It's like it's three dudes.
Yeah.
Okay? But then it hit me. People just want to hear a song. They don't care.
And they don't.
So one night I just said, forget it, man. We were at, I think, like, the American Legion.
Uh-huh.
And this woman kept coming up and asking for some weird off-the-wall stuff, you know, like Phil Collins. It's like, what have we played that makes you think we do that? So finally I said, you know what? I know the words to Me and Bobby McGee. I'll sing it. And we slopped our way through it, but you know what? It sounded okay. I mean, the three of us are good at improvising. And I did know all the words and got all to it. I even did the call him a lover, call him a man. And Ken just looks over me like, you dork, you know. But no, hey, but again, that's a part of the song that is a quintessential part of the song. It has to be in there.
Love. Well, but that's what I think is that when you are doing cover songs in a bar or at a restaurant or something, people aren't expecting you to sound just exactly like, you know, whomever you're covering. And so I just think it's so silly. Like, why would you try to do it exactly that same way? But it's, you know, there was one time, speaking of people that just wildly misjudge, like, the type of music you play. This was, like, right after I started. It might have been the same night that this lady came up and asked me for Guns N' Roses. It was the same venue. It might have been the same night. But this guy was sitting at a table, like, right in front of me. And he said, I'm playing, like, Bob Dylan and James Taylor and like, folk and rock and stuff, you know. And the dude says, what's the hardest shit you can play? And I said, well, I don't know what you mean. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah, that was what I said. Brutal. I said, do you mean, like, do you mean, like technically difficult stuff that I can play? And he's like, play me some Metallica. And I said, man, like, I don't know. Like, I can't play you I'm standing here with my acoustic guitar, you know? And I was like, the only song that I could maybe play is one, and I can only play, like, the first part, you know? I could hack my way through that, maybe. But I don't know the words really well. And he said, well, play me some Stone Temple Pilots. And I said, okay, well, I don't know Stone Temple Pilots either. I can't do that. And so then, I'm not kidding, man. He said, well, maybe if you knew more songs, you'd get tipped better. And I was like, oh, you are the worst, man. You're the worst. And so he came up, and then he gave me $10, like, right after he said that. And he said, do you know the Beatles? And I said, yeah, I know the Beatles. And he said,
I want to friends with them.
Yeah, exactly. He said, I want to hear Blackbird and Norwegian Wood. And then he just walked off. He didn't give me a chance to be like, I don't know those songs. And luckily, like, I just learned those songs, like, that week. So, But man, I don't understand that.
When you played Norwegian Wood, did you capo the 2nd fret and play it in the D position?
I do.
Yeah.
How do you play it?
That's the only way.
That's what I think too. I have a friend, he plays it open in E. And I just think that's so tough.
It's cheating.
Yeah. Man,
because I go by the book, buddy, and I know John Lennon personally, and he told me before he got murdered. No, I think it really was just capoed.
I think so too.
John Lennon was notorious for capoing.
Really?
Yeah, like the song "Angel Bird Can Sing," my ringtone. He capoed on the 2nd fret and played the songs in E.
Yeah.
And plays it in a D position so that it could bring out more.
Well, but that's true. That I think if you're a lone guitarist in a band, it is perfectly appropriate to do that, because there are times where like I capo all the time, because I just like when I play by myself, I do, but I feel like you have to sometimes play a song in a certain key because there's just some voicings there that you can't afford to, especially when you're dealing with chords on guitar like F and B flat and those flat chords and stuff, because you can't really. It's, those keys don't work well with open strings. When you're playing in, like, E or A or D, like, you can kind of have jangly open, like that Pete Townsend vibe going on, and you can get away with it. But when you're in a flat key, there's no chance of that happening, like, unless you're doing some, like, Alex Lifeson stuff or something like that, where it's just purposefully, like, dissonant and kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I come and see you do an acoustic show by yourself, I want to ask you to do that one Anthrax song.
You could.
I'll
say no.
I think it's called "Ain't Looking for Nothing But a Good Time."
That's a really good one. I'll do that one, and then
because Anthrax definitely did that.
That's one of my favorite Anthrax.
And when they did
"Highway to Hell," of course.
Well, and then you've got Metallica when they did "Wanted Dead or Alive."
Yes, I know, that was a classic Metallica song. Kirk Hammett, his voice really shines on that one.
So tell me about this musical endeavor thing that may be happening with yours truly.
Hopefully it happens. It looks like it's going to happen. The groundwork has been laid, I would say. And
the concrete's been poured?
The concrete has been poured. Now it's just a matter, I think, of getting together and working on some stuff.
Hashing out some music. I think we'd have a pretty cool little band.
I agree.
I'm sitting here promoting myself on my podcast.
That's okay.
Is that...
Why else would you even have a podcast if it wasn't...
I enjoy talking to other musicians.
Shameless
Even if I didn't play, I would enjoy this. I love talking music with other musicians.
Me too, man. I love every aspect of it.
Yeah. When, With the Dylan thing, when are we going to hear some of this? I know that he tagged you in a thing.
A video, yeah. We're doing it sort of piecemeal. Like, we just got one song done, and we're about to start work on another one. And then there was like, oh man, it was a while back. He and I and this other guy named Jay Shepard, we recorded like 3 of his songs, and then Dylan's computer crashed.
Oh man!
Yeah. And so we lost.
Oh, that sucks.
We lost like 3 of them.
Does he have a backup drive? That
he did, but it wasn't. He couldn't find these files and stuff.
Oh
yeah, man, it was a bummer. Like, he was very responsible. Like, Dylan is nothing if not like safe and responsible about all this stuff that he does, and so for him to lose it was a bummer, and he was really, really sad about it. And I mean, I was too, because I had laid drums and bass on all that stuff, and there was one song in particular that he had written called "Man on the Run" that was this really kind of like funky, bluesy sort of thing that was really like, I had to work pretty hard to get it, because the chord progression was really, it was neat. It was a little different. It was a lot of fun, but there's one song he had that's kind of a slower ballad called "Prayer" that, like, there was I don't know, an iTunes version of that song basically that had been saved. So the only thing that wasn't on there was like vocals. And I guess Dylan has a cousin out in California somewhere that he's, so we're recording this stuff and mixing it a little bit, and then we're sending it to his cousin to master it. And so we're waiting to get back to this first song that he's done, which is called, what was the name of it? Oh crap, I can't remember. I think it's called "Break It Like You." No, it's a cool song. It's a very neat little song, and But that's how we're doing it. We're kind of doing it one song at a time, and we're, getting it back. And that's proven to be a pretty good way for us to work on it, because we're able to sort of take time and focus on, one song.
Do you feel like you're having to relearn it? Like, sometimes I'll record a song and then have to relearn it.
Yeah, there are times where, like, a few weeks ago, I did a gig with Dylan, and we played that song, Break It Like You, and I was, like, right before we played it, I was just like, I don't know if I can remember this song. Do you ever get that where, like, you can't, like, in your mind, you can't remember how to play a song, but then, like, once you start, you kind of, like, your muscles take over?
Yeah, you have muscle memory.
Right.
The thing I have is, man, I'll sit there and forget the opening riff of a song.
Oh, dude, that happens to me with words, and I never feel more embarrassed or more like a dummy than when I launch into a song, and then I just, like, you just sort of have to sit there and be like, all right, okay, so what's the song I'm doing now? There's when I was playing at the Rogers for that, before the play that we just got finished doing.
Yeah, that was great, by the way.
Thank you.
That was really good. You and your girlfriend Hannah did a wonderful job.
Yep, she's got a beautiful voice. I love singing and playing with her. But there was one night, I think it was like the second night we did it, where I forgot part of one of the verses, and dude, I just, like, it makes me feel so bad, because I just stand there and you like, ha ha, oh man, oh okay, and then you like jump back into whatever, the next part you remember.
The good thing about original songs, they don't know your lyrics.
Yeah, nobody knows, and I don't think many people
know
the songs
I'll sit there and talk about
the Manson family.
Breaking the legs of the elderly in the nursing home or something.
And people are just like, man, he can't mean that. It's got to be really deep or something.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, you don't understand it. I'm riffing here.
That's right.
Yeah, those legs actually represent the poverty of the American homeless, which isn't really funny. I mean, that's not a good, but it's better than I really want to beat up old people.
A little bit, yeah.
I would like to end poverty in America.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, that's good.
So I have a weird question. Like, right now, I mean, there's no getting around it. You get on if you watch the news, or you even get on Facebook, or just talk at work, the world's in a kind of weird place right now.
It is.
It always is during elections, but now you've got some serious issues like, possible bigotry and racism, and
that people won't, call it that,
No, and then you've got accusations of it anyway,
right.
and you've got just blind devotion to ideals and this, that, and the other, and it's causing this great division among us.
Yeah.
Do you, when this kind of stuff goes on, and I think it tends to go in cycles, I don't know.
I agree. I think it definitely does.
When it does, how important do you think the role of music is and entertainment as a whole?
Well, I think, entertainment obviously provides a source of escapism where you can sort of get away from that stuff. And I think that's really important, because there are times where things just get heavy for me sometimes, Like, I got into this conversation with this kid yesterday who's like 18 years old, and
oh boy,
told me that he was going to vote for Trump, which, like, whatever, if that's really, like, you're inclined to do that for, like, a real reason, then, that's, I can't tell you that you're wrong for having an opinion about something, but then he told me that President Obama was going to tear down the Statue of Liberty and send it back to France, and I was just like, no. What? No, he's not. Like, no, he's not. And so
was he all like pseudo-intellectual about it?
Yes,
because they are that way at that age.
He looked it up, and he was like, "Well, see, it says right here." And I was like, "What website did you get that from?" And it was like some entertainment thing. And I said, "Okay, well, that's not a real news source."
It's The Onion.
Yeah, I honestly thought it might be, man. I was my fingers were crossed so hard that he was going to say that. And then I was like, "Well, that's not a news site." And he was like, "Yeah, it is." And I said, "No, it's not. Like, I promise it's not." And he's like, "Well, it's a group of people, it's an organization." And I said, "Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's, like, real news." And so then, like, later, I looked it up, and seriously, the third link I found on Google was Snopes, and it was, like, it was an email that was circulating back in, like, 2013. This is where this kid was getting his, and so, there's just so much misinformation that gets fueled by people, but I do, getting back to kind of the original thing that you asked, I think that in times of weirdness or in times of great change like this, there's been music that's always shown through. Like, I mean, that was pretty much when Bob Dylan really got off the, he was writing songs like a Rolling Stone and The Times They Were Changin', which is still, I mean, one of my favorite songs to play live. I feel like just as relevant now as it was then, but
oh yeah,
there's always those songs that have really political, I mean, geez, man, even in years when there's not like great turmoil and division that is so in your face, Green Day was writing songs like American Idiot or 21 Guns and stuff like that, and
but wasn't that kind of during the middle of Bush and Iraq and
yeah, I guess it was reflecting on that, but it's hard, because I'm 23 now, so like it, a lot of this stuff, like world stuff and politics, has only come into my scope in the past like few years. I mean, I think, when was the last presidential election? 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have just been out of, I voted in the who was it? McCain? No, not McCain.
Mitt Romney and
Obama. I can't even remember.
And the
Mitt
fact
Romney.
you couldn't remember his name tells me
right?
who you voted for.
Isn't that exactly right?
Tells me who you voted for.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I voted for him too.
Yeah, well, I mean, what can you do? Like, you can do so much and put your faith in a person, and then it's up to that person to.
Well, see, that's just it. We got to quit putting our faith in one person and come together as
people,
citizens, and
well,
people.
And that's the thing, is it really
just be like, look, man.
This is something that hasn't even occurred to me until just now having this conversation with you. But that is true, because as most of the time when you're on Facebook, you see a lot of blame casted in one way or another way. And hardly ever does it seem like people are like, we need to find something to do, like we need to come together. And I thought you were reaching out for a hand.
You're trying to hold my hand.
As I was giving my speech about helping people
Absolutely.
out, you're like, oh,
hold my hand, hold my hand. Well, the thing is, I was just saying this the other day. It amazes me that people are willing to say unfriend me if you don't believe in my point of view.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought that was really good. And I'm just
like, you obviously don't have a good idea of what a friendship bond is. Sure. If you're willing to say, look, I believe in this guy that's never going to meet me.
Right.
He's not going to be there when the crap hits the fan. Right. He doesn't know my name. My phone number is not in his cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, yours is, and you've been there for me, but since we don't agree on this,
I think another part of that, though, is now that it's just like, the whole Facebook friends thing has just become such a meaningless endeavor. Like, I've tried to become in the last few years much more selective. Like, I went through this massive purge of my Facebook a few years ago. Because, it just happens, man. Where you, especially when you're like, doing what we do and you're meeting new people and going different places every weekend. Yeah. And, like, people want to add you on Facebook. And that's cool. But, like, there are times I do whittle it down. But, at the same time, I really try to challenge myself. And, like, there are some people that I leave on there. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's any big secret. Like, I do tend to go a little more left on a lot of the things that I believe, but there are a lot of people that I keep in my newsfeed purposefully because they are just so far the opposite way, and like I want to see what those people are saying. And sure, like there are times where like it will raise my body temperature to read some of the things that they have to say, but I think it's really important. I think now, especially in a time when people are wanting to be so sheltered, which is an odd thing because you used to hear people talking about like, well, have you been living under a rock, or like you must be a really sheltered person. And now people are, especially like college kids that you think, you're like young and kind of in the prime of your life where you can like deal with that stuff, So many people just seem to be getting so sensitive about things. And it's weird, I was really that way for a while where I just felt like, everything had to offend you or like nothing could be, but I think you just sort of have to.
I think it's part of growing up too.
I agree. Yeah, you just sort of have to like realize who you are and the things that you think are okay. But like I think we were talking about this last week. Like I've believed for a long time that intent is everything, and the intent behind what you say and context and stuff. Because I think that's we live in an age now too where people are taking passages from different like holy texts and whatever from all across the board, using them in whatever context they want. And a lot of the time, books like that were written thousands of years ago or like not for our Americanized, like, modern vernacular and stuff, you know, and, like, the things that are being said are things that we don't necessarily always understand or get the scope of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard, you know, I think people just, I don't know, they don't pay attention, they don't do more than read some type of sensational article online, and they don't want to go and check it out. They just want to be like, oh my God, did you hear about this? Like, did you know that Obama's taking down the Statue of Liberty?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And some people, they'll take that stuff as law.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, you know. But like I said, a lot of that stuff just didn't come onto my radar. But I think another reason is because of, you know, the advent of, like, social media and things like that, where we just have such a direct access to all of that, you know. It's in our pockets, and like whenever you're not doing something, you know, like you're in the bathroom or you're waiting in line somewhere, like where, you know, you're like on your phone scrolling through Facebook or whatever, and it's crazy, man.
The thing that gets me is everybody wants to be right,
and nobody, I mean, you know, nobody, especially in Facebook arguments, nobody wants to budge an inch. And I mean, I'm as guilty of that as anybody, but there usually does come a certain time where if you really get into it with somebody, I sort of have to take a look at myself and be like, okay, well, I was kind of, you know, a jerk.
Sometimes if someone just goes into full-on dick mode, then I will keep it going.
I'm really bad about that, man.
Yeah, because I'm an antagonizer.
I will be so passive-aggressive.
Once you become just a complete jerk, then it's like, okay, it's on. You're not even going to know that, or you probably will, but you're not going to know that I know I'm doing this to you. So I'm going to play really dumb and just push your buttons. And I've got to learn to not do that.
It's so
but
fun
it's entertaining.
Sometimes. Yeah,
it's entertaining, and it's kind of like I secretly get to laugh on the inside.
Right. Well, I feel bad because a lot of the time, whenever I get into that stuff that I don't agree with people, like my first instinct is to just be super passive aggressive, and that's like not a good way to be.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But I don't know. I've always had a very sarcastic sense of humor, and like I really enjoy being facetious with people. Like, you know, a lot of the time people don't know how to read me, like if I'm being serious, if I'm joking. And I kind of like that because a lot of the time, you know, there's just a certain, like, I don't know, mystique or whatever to that is fun to keep up around people. But
I'm amazed at how many people have taken me serious.
Yeah, and sometimes people do, or like they will really get upset by the things you say.
Yeah, because there's times I've even had to be like, gosh, man, I'm becoming a caricature of something, and people are buying into it. I gotta quit.
Right. Well,
but it's just so fun. You know, it's like I was just saying the other day, the best actors are not in Hollywood.
Sure.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit I don't know 100% why I do it. I don't know the benefit that I find in.
I think it's just humor, man. I think it's
I'm a natural entertainer. I like to entertain.
Yeah.
It's just something I've done it since I was a kid. At first I thought, I'm just an attention whore. Well, maybe I am. But I was born with it.
Maybe that's
I
part
come
of it,
by it honestly. Because
No, I agree. It's fun, man. I like. It's just, you know, and that's the other thing about social media is you have that platform where not only are you seeing stuff everybody else is saying, you on the other side of that, you have this option where you get to say what you want to say to everybody, and
well, you also kind of get to see yourself in third person.
Right.
There's times I'll go and look at things I've said, and I'm just like, good God, man.
Same
here. What the hell was going on there?
Same here.
But what I was going to get at with the entire thing of all this is, it's during this time I want to listen to certain kinds of music.
Yeah.
Man, give me some of that good feeling hippie shit.
Yeah.
You know, I want to, and I listen to, you know, the radio stations and this, that, and the other, and I listen to modern rock. Mm-hmm. And it's just formulaic, manufactured anger.
I agree. I'm happy you brought that up.
And it's just, I'm done. I don't like it.
I agree. I feel like that's a problem in that is reaching into like every crevasse of music, is that it is just such a manufactured thing now. You know, there so many people I listen to, and I've never been ever in my life into really listening to what's on the radio. Like, that's always been stuff that's off my radar. I usually just listen to the music that I find, or that a friend will refer me to, and then I you know, that's kind of how I've built my musical taste. But like, whenever I do hear stuff that's playing on the radio, like, it drives me crazy, man, because I feel like so much of it is dishonest, and like I just can't connect with it, you know. Even people like Taylor Swift, I just cannot connect with the stuff that she sings about, you know.
Well, you're a straight man, I presume. You have a girlfriend, so I mean, you'd have to almost be a straight woman to get that stuff. Maybe she's alienated herself.
Just well, I think it's so weird that and then you know she talks about how, you know, like I've heard her say things about I've heard people that are fans of Taylor Swift tell me things like, whenever she gets asked about, like, why do you write all these songs about being in relationships and stuff, and she kind of does this, like, well, would you, do you ask that to other guys, like all these other guys that only talk about their relationships and stuff, like it's some sexist thing, and I don't think it is, but it just seems like a lot of her songs are specifically about, like...
How many men have written only about relationships? Yeah. Maybe Michael Bolton.
Sting. Well, no, Sting. He wrote Sting's Driven to Tears and a bunch of different stuff, man.
King of Pain.
Yeah.
Englishman in New York.
Yep, that's
Love
a great
is the
song.
Seventh Wave.
Sting has written a lot of other stuff.
Russians.
Yeah, Russians. Country music. But my point of view is coming from somebody who, my scope of music was like, until I was 12 years old, I did not know that music existed outside of like Stephen Curtis Chapman and Audio Adrenaline and like Christian rock, you know?
Whatever works.
And then, I started listening to like, I went immediately from that to like listening to Green Day, and I became obsessed with Green Day, and then from like Green Day I got into Rush, and I fell in love with Rush, and then, from Rush it was Dream Theater. So all of these bands got very, specific, like, sort of niches and areas where their lyrics are going, like Neil Peart writes all those, like, space sci-fi, and some of it is really, like, I can really get into it, and, there are other times where it just seems like he's very honestly saying things that are on his heart, and I think that's always been really cool to me. And then it wasn't until I was, like, a senior in high school that I kind of went back and started listening to bands like, The Killers and Coldplay and all these different, Radiohead and a lot of different, like, pop bands and stuff and rock bands that I'd sort of missed along the way because I was busy listening to Christian rock and then just all this far out progressive stuff. But you know what modern
pop music is missing for me personally?
Everything.
Melodies.
Yeah, I agree.
Good melodies. It's all it's vocal gymnastics.
Yeah.
It's like, just sing a dang melody, man, and let that move me, because it's no secret to those that know me. My favorite musician of all time, as far as songwriter, Paul McCartney. Well, he's the master of melodies. I mean, the guy can probably belch out a melody in his sleep. I mean, the guy just oozes melodies.
Yeah, he does.
And it moves me. But that's why classical music moves me too.
Yeah, well, agreed, man. Agreed.
Well, look, I don't think we're going to have time. We're over the hour mark, and I've been trying to keep it an hour. Will you promise me to come back and we'll do a drum off in the next podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
That would be great.
We'll just call this part 1.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
It's
man, I appreciate you coming in, brother.
I love it, man. Thank you for having me. Sorry that we took such a long time.
No. I go this long.
Oh, good.
I've been trying to go this long.
I feel like we didn't talk. We talked about a lot of stuff. It was,
we covered a lot of ground.
It was cool, man.
Yeah.
Drum off next time.
Drum off next time.
Maybe with the bass drum.
Yep. Anything you want to tell anybody?
Just be honest. Be who you are. Love what you love. And don't be ashamed by it, unless of course you're hurting other people, and then don't do that. So, be good to others. Be good to others. Be good to yourself.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this podcast. I'd like to thank my guest, Mr. Keyven Dunn.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Heartthrob.
Oh.
Olympic swimmer.
Yep.
He's got the hair of oh man, what's that? Heartthrob.
Fabio?
No, yeah, Fabio. He's got the hair of Fabio.
I did.
He's got the chiseled physique of the Adonis.
That's what I was gonna say.
He's
great.
My buddy, looking like future bandmate.
Yay.
Which is really cool. Can't wait to get to work on that. So there you go. There's a first for you there.
Thank you guys.
And that's it. Until next time.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.